Maine Governor Janet Mills is wrapping up a tour of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. It's all in an effort to reverse or at least slow a steep decline in the number of tourists crossing the border to visit her state. And Governor Mills joins us now. So how much has the tension between the U.S. and Canada, we're talking about tariffs, we're talking about annexation, hurt your state?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can't account for that rhetoric on behalf of our president. He doesn't speak for us when he says those things, and it's damaging to our efforts to collaborate, continue to collaborate. But let's not forget that we have a historic interdependence economically, family-wise, culturally, even the cuisine. And for instance, Nova Scotia and Maine share obviously coastal communities and challenges and assets and attributes that those offer. We share the fisheries, concerns about the right whale, the concerns about offshore wind and efforts to go down that path, energy issues. We export advanced manufacturing products and a lot of other things to Nova Scotia and the maritime provinces, and we import a great deal of our commodities from the Atlantic provinces. So we do not want that rhetoric to be hurting our exchange of materials and goods and research and information, which is critical as well.
But it is right now in terms of tourism.
It's had an impact on tourism, certainly for Northeast United States and perhaps elsewhere. Our tourism numbers from Canada, at least, are down. We had a successful Memorial Day weekend, travel-wise, from road trips. But yes, and using the CAT, it makes it so much easier to negotiate between Maine and Nova Scotia. It's an asset.
But I know you've heard from people in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia saying they don't feel safe going down. They've canceled their trips.
Yeah. That really hurts because I can understand why they have those deep-seated feelings, and there's been some anecdotes across the border. I mean, it's a 4,000-mile-long border between the United States and Canada, and there are a few bad things happening. But let's face it, there are still tens of thousands of Canadian visitors and people coming across the border between Canada and Maine constantly. We have a 611-mile border between Maine and Quebec and New Brunswick, and we are like in the lap of Canada, right? We're unique in that respect.
But before you ask Canadians to take a leap of faith and come into the U.S., shouldn't state legislatures be pushing hard on the things like that are upsetting Canadians, like the tariffs, like the rhetoric around the 51st state? Isn't that the ball in your court first?
Let me just say the tariffs, which are not run by the state, they're authorized by Congress and the chief executive, and we are attacking the tariffs, which are, as the Wall Street Journal put them, nothing but a large tax heist. It's a tax on us, the American people, and our consumer goods prices are going up, not down, as he promised last year during the election season. And so we are opposing the blanket tariffs, and I don't think they're in sync with the authorization, the congressional authorization. So yes, we are lobbying our members of Congress, and they are also
you having
lobbying.
Any success?
I think they are pushing for a rollback of tariffs on aluminum and steel, automobiles, trucks. They are pushing back on those. And I think we're pushing back in the courts as well. I predict we're going to be successful in the courts because I don't think what the president has done is consonant with the Constitution and the authorities that he has and does not have. But regardless, tourism is important to both of us, all of us. And the exchange of goods from fisheries and advanced manufacturing products to intelligence and research and information is critical to all of us.
But as governor, you don't have control over the border agents, what's happening at the border. So I guess you might be able to understand when you talk about the anecdotes that people have experienced, that they might be a little nervous or just a little angry.
Yeah, well, but listen, and I understand that anger. But it wasn't me who said those things, and it wasn't the people of Maine, let's be clear. And the people of Maine, when you stop coming to Maine, you're not hurting President Trump. You're not hurting our federal government. You're hurting the small businesses, many of whom their families have Canadian roots. My roots go back a couple hundred years in Pugwash, Nova Scotia. So, and Maura Healey's roots, Governor Healey from Massachusetts, her roots go back into Newfoundland. Many people in New England have Canadian roots. Those small family businesses, those are the ones, the mom and pop shops, the motels, the B&Bs, the souvenir shops, the restaurants, those are the ones that you're hurting by not coming to Maine. And that's not fair. It wasn't them who caused the tariffs. It wasn't those people, those families who use the dangerous rhetoric that our chief executive in Washington has been employing. And I will say that there are still tens of thousands of people coming across. We welcome them with open arms. They are coming across and being safe, staying safe. And much of the news about this is anecdotal. Maine is the safest state in the United States. We're the lowest violent crime rate of any state in the country. We're proud of that. And we welcome people. We've got signs up now at all 13 border crossings saying, Bienvenue Canadien, welcome Canadians, and signs in the shops all around Maine saying, please remember us. You're our friends, you're our family, and those interdependencies will endure forever.
Now, the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, has said that the long-standing, strong relationship between our two countries is over.
From a governmental point of view, he's drawing a line, and I hope that he succeeds in developing a relationship of a different sort with our president, and that he can cause our president to reverse his stand on tariffs. Again, they're nothing but a tax on American people. To me, he campaigned on the economy. The economy in Maine and the United States, the prices of bread, of cars and trucks has gone up. The cost of construction, we all need to be building new homes. The cost of that has gone up 10% in Maine alone because of his tariffs on steel and aluminum. So we're not for those things. They're hurting us, American people, as much as anybody.
But
as
for the relationship,
too.
Do you think it's repairable?
I do think it's repairable. Look, this is one president for a certain term. And I think people with better knowledge and better minds, better mindsets, people he listens to, businesses he listens to, are starting to say, look, this has gone too far, and you got to back off. And I think he will listen to them. But also, the Congress of the United States is undergoing a change next year. I suspect it'll be changing a lot. And the Congress will be standing up and taking back its authority. They should take back their authority on tariffs and taxes and bring it back home, because and here's what's the problem. It's not the tariffs and the taxes or the rhetoric alone. It's the unpredictability, the instability that businesses, that our economy all need. Your economy needs as well. We need to keep sharing the intellectual property, the research and development, the ideas, whether it's marine sciences and underwater drones and submersibles and watching for right whales and all those kinds of things. And how do you take count of the whole lobster and make pharmaceuticals and cosmetics and whatnot? We're sharing that information. We need to you can't put a tariff on ideas. You can't put a tariff on knowledge. We want to keep going down those roads and sharing everything we can with the good people of Nova Scotia and the Maritime provinces.
All right. Well, Governor Mills, thanks so much for your time.
Thank
We appreciate
you.
it.